Welcome to Details in Divorce, where we break down the legal, financial, and emotional aspects of divorce to help you make informed decisions. I'm your host, Paul Riley, and each episode we dive into key issues that impact individuals who are navigating separation and divorce. So, whether you're concerned about asset division, protecting your business, or dealing with foreign property disputes, we're here to provide clear, practical insights. And divorce is complex, but understanding your rights and options can make all the difference in the world. And while this isn't legal advice that I'm giving you, it is designed to empower you with the knowledge you need to move forward and to do so with confidence. Well, if you're a business owner, investor, or high net worth individual, chances are you've been advised to use trusts as part of your asset protection or estate planning strategy. And trusts can be powerful tools. But today's case is a clear warning that not all trusts will survive a divorce. Because when a trust exists only on paper and not in practice, the court will not hesitate to dismantle it. Today we're talking about sham trusts and how asset protection can completely fail in family law. The case is Resendes v. Maciel, a 2025 decision from the Ontario Superior Court of Justice. At first glance, this looked like a very common high net worth setup. The parties were together for about 17 years and married for 3. The husband was the primary income earner and very financially successful. He owned multiple real estate investment properties and operated through a family trust known as the Simcoe Group Trust. The trust was settled years before the marriage. The beneficiaries were his children, and the husband was the sole trustee. Now, on paper, this looked like proper estate planning, but in reality, the trust operated very differently. The husband maintained total control over the trust. He used trust funds to pay personal expenses. He mixed trust money with his own. He failed to keep proper accounting records, and he treated trust assets as though they were still his personal property. When the marriage ended, the wife challenged the trust and asked the courts to declare it a sham, arguing that it was designed to hide assets and defeat equalization. That set the stage for the central legal issue in this case. So what exactly is a sham trust? Well, a sham trust is not simply a trust that is poorly managed. It's a trust that may look valid on paper, but was never genuinely intended to operate as an independent legal entity. In family law, courts are not impressed by formal documents alone. They want to know who actually controls the assets and who truly benefits from them, and does the trustee respect the separation between personal property and trust property? If the answer is no, the court can and will look past the structure. In Resendes v. Maciel, the court concluded, after it conducted a deep factual analysis of how the trust operated in real life, and several red flags stood out. First, total control. The husband was the sole trustee with absolute discretion. Second, the personal use of trust assets. Trust funds were used to pay personal credit cards, family expenses, and lifestyle costs with little to no documentation. Third, mixing of funds. Money flowed freely between the trust and the husband personally with no meaningful separation. Fourth, a complete lack of proper accounting. There were no reliable records, no transparent explanations, and no proper trustee accounting. Taken together, the court concluded that the trust was never treated as a real trust at all. The judge made something very clear here. What matters is substance over form. You can have professionally drafted trust deed, you can name beneficiaries, you can call it estate planning, but if in practice you still treat the assets as your own, the court will do the same. The decision was decisive in this case. The court found that the Simcoe Group Trust was a sham, and the consequences were severe. The trust was treated as void. Its assets were deemed to belong to the husband personally, and those assets were fully included in his net family property, and they became, in fact, the subject to equalization. In effect, the trust provided no protection at all. Years of planning were undone because the structure was not respected in reality. This case is especially important for high net worth clients. Many wealthy spouses rely on trusts for asset protection, income splitting, or estate planning. But Ontario courts are increasingly sophisticated when it comes to complex financial structures. They understand trusts, they understand corporations, and they understand when a structure is being used to avoid family law obligations. A trust that functions like a personal bank account will be treated as such. So let's look at the key takeaways here. First, genuine independence is critical. If you create a trust, it must actually operate independently. Second, documentation matters. Proper records, clear accounting, and transparency are not optional. Third, lifestyle spending is dangerous. Using trust assets for personal expenses is one of the fastest ways to destroy asset protection. Fourth, sham trusts are void. If a trust is declared a sham, it is treated as if it never existed. And finally, asset protection is not asset hiding. Courts will dismantle any structure designed to defeat equalization or support obligations. Trusts remain powerful tools when used properly. But this case is a reminder that courts don't just read documents, they read behavior. And when those two don't align, asset protection will almost indefinitely fail. That's it for this episode in Details in Divorce. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and valuable as you navigate your own divorce journey. Remember, every situation is unique, and getting the right information is key to making the best decision for your future. If you have any questions or need guidance, the Riley Firm is here to help. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes where we continue to explore the critical issues that matter most during divorce. I'll see you next time.